cross over to the IEBC, where there's an address going on right now. That's in Nyeri.
Even as you've gone around and you've brought out a difference between the rallies and the voting, do you feel, as a commission, that the will of the people will actually be realized, or do you feel that this election will actually reflect the will of the people of this country?
You express the will, your will through vote. If you don't come out to vote, unfortunately, other people will express it for you. So I would, it will still be expressed. Even if you get less than 50%, the will of the people who vote will still be expressed. But probably we need to ask ourselves, going forward, what do we need to do as a nation? How do we need to engage our citizenry so that they all feel the obligation to exercise their democratic right, and probably ask ourselves, what is the problem with the leaders that we elect? Is it a problem with the leaders, or is it ourselves? Because you get good leaders as good as you are. Yeah, so I think that is a national conversation. It may not be for this time, but we can look at that going forward and see what kind of role should we play, including the media. Because media is a component and is the one that sets the tempo in the country.
Last question. In our visits, we've seen some areas where there are complaints about, especially some groups, older people, older generations, identification has been an issue. And some of them are being asked to sanitize, wash their hands, find ways to help them get more identified more easily. Do you feel as a commission that in itself has played a part in discouraging people?
No, because you cannot be discouraged before you come to the polling station. I have not had cases whereby people have turned away from the polling station for lack of being identified. Because our system of identification is, first of all, biometric. If you have a problem with the biometrics, you are supposed to enter your ID number in the KIMS kit. And once that is done, your details pop out. And once they pop out, you are allowed to vote, but you are also allowed to hold your ID, and the KIMS kit will take a picture. And that is what we call supervisor-assisted mode of voting. So you cannot be discouraged from your house. Surely you must go to the polling station, and I am not aware, unless you have heard of cases whereby somebody has been turned away from polling because they were not identified, unless you are not in the register. I want to also emphasize that the register we have in the KIMS kit is exactly the same register that is manual. And in every polling station, we have a manual register, which has your details, your picture, your photograph, your ID, and your full names as they appear in your ID.
Maybe when you talk about that, we've been here for almost 2 hours, and this lady who is standing here, she's been here and she has complained that her details are nowhere to be seen. How is she going to be helped, and already she has been told to go home?
There is no way we can help somebody now who's not in KIMS kit and is not in the register. There's no way, because we give Kenyans a month to verify their details.
She said she's verified. She's here, you can ask her.
I cannot ask her now because there is nothing I can do now. There's nothing that can be done now for anybody who is not in the register. Because if you verified and there were differences or changes that wanted to be made, they would have been made now. As of now, the register, the way it is, nobody can interfere with it, nobody can change it.
So is it meaning that maybe she did confirm?
Maybe she did not confirm, maybe she was not even registered. She has not been registered as a voter. Okay. Yes? Another question? I just want to mention that according to our latest update from Bomas of Kenya, the National Tallying Center, some areas have been allowed to vote manually. That is in Kakamega, where there are problems with the KIMS kit, 158 polling stations, and in Makueni, where I think one constituency with about 85 polling stations has also been allowed to go manual. Yes. Otherwise, yes.
My name is John, the chief agent for Duncan Maina, contesting on a new Senate ticket in Nyeri constituency. We have a very serious challenge with the elderly and the people who cannot be identified using the biometrics. It is taking a very long time, very long, almost 30-40 minutes. And I have been moving around. I can take you to Kigali right now. About 15 guys have been kept aside. Okay, so if the process can be hastened, because they are giving up and some of them are running away.
Have they been identified alphanumerically with IDs?
I witnessed 2 cases.
Have they been?
I witnessed all the cases.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
seeing Mr. Mauta. He has given the authority. What I'm saying, even that process, so that we get to reach the authorization,
Thank you.
it's taking too long a time. And then they are being told to the ticket.
Okay, sir.
Stay aside.
Okay, what you'll do about that, the county election manager is here, and she will be able to communicate with all the returning officers so that they communicate with the presiding officers. You don't have to stay a long time. If you cannot be found biometrically for 2 or 3 times, then you should go to alphanumeric. Yes, you should communicate that. Yes.
Well, live update there from Commissioner Francis Wanderi speaking in Nyeri.